Hi everyone. Today I'd like to give the explanation to you about the Promethean channel in terms of metaphysics. I'm calling it Truth Coming Home. And it is time that we are facing the much deeper level of understanding who we are in relationship to the cosmic creator and where we come from and how we respond to what we are experiencing. It does not mean that we are experiencing or talking about solipsis. Solipsis has to do with self-involved, self-centered, and thinking that you are the center of the universe. That is definitely not the case of what we are going to be discussing on this channel. For those of you who have been on the channel for a long time, you know that this process is in the making, was in the making for some time. And for those of you who are new, thank you for coming on this channel. And thank you for taking the time to actually explore the videos that are already on the playlists. Each video that's been put there is there for a reason. It is not put in any particular order, which means it was made as I was guided to make it. And so you are going to find the same type of guidance coming to you once you look at each video. So I want to encourage you to please look at every video, because once you're able to understand what each one is and means, then you will understand that this is the inevitable level that we are reaching towards. And the reason I'm saying this is it is not about, oh, this is level 2, or oh, this is level 4 or 3 or 6 or 500 or whatever. The level that I'm talking about is the internal level with regards to the multi-layered understanding of metaphysics within itself. In other words, it is a type of science that is from a spirit nature, and it is a science that has existed long before mankind has actually ever considered the understanding of science within themselves. And so science is a study of the relationship between ourselves, Great Spirit, our spirit, and Great Spirit, along with everything else that we are experiencing in this reality. And as I have said before, and I'm going to say this again, this channel will be more or less the same for the old ones of you, for the older members. It'll be exactly the same, except it'll be much deeper, and it will be much more involved and much more deeper related to the subjects at hand. And so I will be giving information as it comes along, as I always do, with regards to our relationship in ourselves, with regards to what it is that we are experiencing. And so I've got a few points here that I want to refer to you and suggest that you just take note of these, because this is the premise of what we will be operating on. So metaphysics acknowledges and respects the nature, beauty, love, and connection of the spirit and of all, and with the creation and Great Spirit's creation. We refer to it as Great Spirit or the cosmic creator, which is what I will be calling it. You can call it whatever you want to call it, and as I've said, if you want to call it God, then be sure that your God that you are connecting with is able to connect with you on a much more tangible level. And for those of you who have been with me so far, you are aware that we are referring to a living, life-giving, life-emitting presence of a tangible presence of spirit. And for those who are asking, yeah, have you tested all the spirits? My answer to you will be resoundingly yes, because many of the information and the levels of many spirits that have come along have proven that none of them have the heart and the care and the consideration and the ever uncreated existence of Great Spirit. And therefore that is what I will call it, because no man can defy or deify Great Spirit. Great Spirit does not permit deification, which means we can only refer to it as Spirit and Greater Spirit within ourselves and within the relationship with it. It is masculine and it is feminine. Masculine in terms of the starting off of the creation itself, once the information in regards to creating takes place. It is masculine, and for those of you who are aware of the previous work, please go to the knowledge section. You will find many questions being answered in relationship to this particular video. Once the creation has taken place within the intention of thought and it's been spoken into existence, that which receives the existence or the expression is then feminine. And so therefore, that is what we will refer to as masculine and feminine. We are not referring to a physical male and a female. We are referring to the masculine and the feminine of the power of the creation itself. And so for those of you who need to understand, we are referring to the start of the creation as alpha and its expression to be the omega, which is feminine. And so metaphysics acknowledges and respects this relationship. And we are also discussing the information in this way. Metaphysics is a spiritual process, in other words, and it is without any particular religion or any belief system that is dogmatic in this reality and many other realities that influences this reality. Metaphysics does not explore religious beliefs. In other words, we do not entertain it, we don't propagate it, but we use many examples and references in order to understand what we're looking at. Metaphysics does not entertain or prescribe to the laws created by man either, but rather explores the immutable laws of nature in itself, set by the cosmic creator or Great Spirit. The presence of Great Spirit is within, as you are within it. The relationship between yourself and Great Spirit and within the relationship is equal to the relationship that you have within yourself. Metaphysics encompasses philosophy that studies the ultimate nature of existence, reality, and experience without being bound to any one theological doctrine or dogma. It's very important because this information about metaphysics is being scrubbed off the system, literally as we speak. And so I thought it was very important to bring it all into perspective on this channel, because this is what it is all about. So we are, as I've said to you, standing in our house, and we are maintaining the information for what it is. Metaphysics includes a lot of knowledge about spirituality, many expressions, faiths, religions, and beliefs, but we transcend it. In other words, we discuss information about what we know, we discuss philosophies, we discuss beliefs, religions, faiths, movements, you name it. We discuss all of it, and we look at the relationship with it in itself to the nature of what we are existing within. If it does not come up that it supports the nature of our existence, then we do not entertain that information anymore. And the reason I'm saying why we are in a leveled up position is because we are not going to be feeding the system what it wants. Remember, the system is a hypercube. A hypercube, please look it up. You'll see that the system is mechanical and based on a Metatronic belief, or the archetype of Metatron, which is running the actual system itself. In other words, people that function within the hypercubic system are people that have to live off of it, and it lives then off of people. You choose how you perceive and experience the system. We all are essentially living within the system, but we choose how the system influences us. And therefore, I want to wake up the minds and the thoughts and the hearts so that you will understand that we are essentially exploring the truth within oneself. Metaphysics is the study of the ultimate cause of the universe, this universe, not any other universe, and our interactions with it. In other words, it's about relationships, okay? It is also defined by our interactions with regards to how we perceive our own sacred blueprint. of humanity as well, along with everything else that we're experiencing, within Creator, within Great Spirit or God or universal presence, within the cosmic, it doesn't matter, in the creation of the universe, as it is within humanity. In other words, that which what you are experiencing and what you're perceiving is also experienced and perceived within your internal self. Metaphysics, contrary to Greek history, and I am going to make it very clear here, is connoting that it was created by Aristotle, which is incorrect. Aristotle only remarked and acknowledged from his point in relationship of his observation in recognizing the communication within his spirit with the greater spirit and the interaction with this as the cosmic creator, its creation. Okay. The word meta, meaning over and beyond, within your conscious thoughts and physics, thus the combination means over and beyond physics. It is based on that which is above physics. It is based on that which is above science. Okay, it is an acknowledged work. So the word forming, element describing, from the Greek meaning after, behind, amongst, between, changed, altered, higher, beyond, from Greek meta. In the midst of, in, common with, or by means of, between, in pursuit of, quest, etc. The notion of changing places probably lead to the senses of change of place, order, or nature, which was a principal meaning of the Greek word when used as a prefix. So when the Greeks came along, they kind of rewrote how they understood the words metaphysics, or the relationship with Great Spirit, and they connoted it into some sort of philosophy, and they then described that it's a philosophy that's beyond the physical things that we are bound by. In mainstream media, the authentic meaning has been dismantled and, as I've said to you, been scrubbed from the system using a Hegelian definition of an ancient science where it was taught as a branch of philosophy. This is wrong. It is also describing metaphysics as a type of speculative philosophy. It is wrong. It is also described as quantum mysticism. Wrong again. Metaphysics do not worship nature, but we respect nature. We do not worship one another, but we respect one another and care for one another, nor any other deities, except respect, love, care, and concern for oneself in relationship to another. In other words, I acknowledge your unique existence for who you are, for what you have achieved, and what you are bringing to this table. Therefore, I expect you to have the same respect and care and concern for myself. I do not try and change you to change your beliefs to my beliefs. I do not enforce my beliefs onto you. I share my knowledge with you, and you make with it what you wish to do. And so that is the relationship, a metaphysical relationship that people have with one another. And same goes for having a relationship with another person as well. When I am in a relationship with someone, I do not try and enforce or place that person above me. We are within our equal existence, our own unique existence, and we respect one another for what we have achieved individually before we met that person. We do not try and bring each other down or enforce each other or set one up to become someone to parade on the pedestal. That is not correct at all. That is imbalanced, and you then live in a deficit. And I think we have discussed this before as well. Okay, so spirituality in the potential of unmanifested accumulations of personalities, the charge of the fires of spiritual creations, the cordial presentation or presentiment of the presence and demands of the spirit. In other words, the details of understanding what spirit means does not mean that we are avoiding or neglecting the soul, the mind, the body, and everything else. It means that we are looking at the spirit as the main person, the main energy that is driving this entire embodiment. So I want to address it further by stating that the cordial presentiment of the presence and demands of the spiritualization of the fires of centers. When I say fire of the centers, I'm saying how passionate you are. Glimpses of self-consciousness, inner awareness of a spiritual person. It is imperative of the spirit. The action of the spiritual fire of the centers of the heart, kindling of the fire of the spirit, etc. The relationship to each other and is the same as the relationship that you have with yourself. I'm saying it is the same because if you are angry with yourself and you are not loving towards yourself, but you are trying to have the same relationship with another person, the chances are that you'll have a deficit in that relationship. And then the same goes with how much you are able to allow yourself to explore the much deeper level of who you are. The next part is very important. I would like to just share with you this as well. We are going to look at what metaphysics is most certainly not. Okay, it is not quantum mysticism. Quantum mysticism is everything around you and all at the same time without any specific definition, not unified. In metaphysics, we are speaking about unified connection. We are united. The united is different than being part of a unity consciousness. Okay, be very, very careful. A unity consciousness means one consciousness, a hive mind. Okay, quantum healing or quantum mysticism is about everything has, is all one. That does not exist. Okay, that is a lie. Because that is then an inverted reference to Lucis Trust theology with regards to one mind and nothing else. Hive mind, okay, a bunch of insects. Okay, it is not a philosophy. Quantum healing is a pseudo-scientific mixture of ideas which purportedly draws from quantum mechanics, psychology, philosophy, neurophysiology. Advocates of quantum healing assert that quantum phenomena govern health and well-being. Remember what I said. The word quantum is something that can be quantified. We cannot quantify Great Spirit. Therefore, we cannot quantify our spirit. We are more than that which they are trying to quantify. Okay, to quantify something means I reduce you to a point where I'm thinking I can understand you. And that is based on another person's opinion. Metaphysics is not that. Okay? The next thing I need to explain to you is syncretism. Everyone seems to be stuck on that in some shape or form. I'm not saying in reference to you who are listening. I'm saying it seems to be something that is running around. Syncretism is the amalgamation or attempted amalgamation of different religions, cultures, or schools of thought. There's a person called Santos Bonacci. He discusses syncretism in astrology. That is different. It is not the same as what I'm referring to you here as everything that everyone who wants to bring all the religions together under one roof is the same person who wants to quantify everything together so that it makes one little lump of gold and say, oh, that must be gold. X, Y, and Z must be gold. That means it is following the philosophy, which is not even a philosophy. It is a belief system with regards to reductionism. Reductionism is to reduce the process of something into something that someone can understand. Okay? New World Order from United Nations is doing the same with all the countries in the world, with all the root races in the world. They are reducing the original blueprint of the root races to become something that is unrecognizable, but according to them will then be called something else. Okay, and they call that race the sixth root race, and that will be discussed in the root race subject. Religious syncretism. I'm sure you can understand what that means. Syncretism has been part of Christianity, but from its very beginning, unfortunately. When early Christians expressed Jesus in Aramaic teachings in the Greek language in Christian theology, use of syncretism shifted from a complement during the Reformation in the 20th and 21st century. So it changed. It became, when it was something that was regards as Christian astrotheology, that was fine, but it just overstepped and bled over to Christianity, influencing and interfering so much so that most people who are scholars of Christianity have lost parts of the authentic Christian belief. Metaphysics is not that. Gnosticism. Gnosticism is a collection of religious ideas and systems which coalesced in the late 1st century AD among Jewish and early Christian sects. These various groups emphasized personal spiritual knowledge above the orthodox teachings, traditions, and authority of religious institutions. They maintain that spirit is only female and acknowledges that masculinity is vilified as an archetypal villain. Proponents of feminism. It is not feminism. It is, again, another abuse to something that is sacred. I call that neo-fascism, okay? That is what you're looking at. Gnosticism that's been reduced and changed in its elements so that it becomes much harder and much more derogatory towards masculinity as well. And so metaphysics acknowledges masculine and feminine for their respectful positions in creation and will always do so. It is something important as well to understand that paganism, metaphysics is not paganism. I have been trying to explain this now for a while. Pagan worshipping, the word pagan means follower of nature, okay? Metaphysics is not the follower of nature. Pagans worship the divine in many different forms, through feminine as well as masculine imagery, and sometimes without gender. The most important and widely recognized of these are the gods and the goddesses, or pantheons, or gods and goddesses. Paganism does, however, use magical rites to qualify their beliefs. It does not recognize the magical properties or gifts already. They say that it is already within mankind. Okay. In other words, they're saying mankind is a magical being. I actually want to say yes. It is definitely not Satanism. Satanism is the inverted paganism mixed with religion, chosen path to worship a darker type of archetype. Deities are called devils or demonic aspects. These are just archetypes, okay? Ideologies of various religions and counterculture. It is counterculture, okay? Regarded in Christianity, practices and movements centered around the archetypes, the figure called Satan or the devil, regarding the opposite of Christianity, or Leviathan if Gnostic or Judaic. You do get Judaic Satanism and you do get Christian Satanism. You get these things, Gnostic Satanism as well. Footing the beliefs that raw nature or baser personality is what one must allow to grow and to venerate it. Okay, so worshipping the human nature. Oneism. Metaphysics is most certainly not oneism, a religion about solipsis, as I've said to you from the beginning, or the belief that all events and religions or experiences are because of or due to person who is experiencing it. Oneism is defined as the worship of creation, where all is one when creation is worshipped and served as divine. In Oneism, all distinctions are eliminated. A word that they use is self-effacing through what they then call enlightenment. Oneism proclaims that man is also divine, all is one, and that is simply not true. Okay. Therefore, ties into the beliefs of one world religion, tying to the propaganda of the loosest trust, blah, blah, blah. Something that you need to take in mind as well is there's something called the law of one. It is based on the same principle. Okay. Then there's something called twoism. I didn't even know it existed. But they state twoism is defined as the worship of the divine creator of all things. In twoism, God alone is divine and is distinct from his creation. Yet through his son Jesus, God is in loving communion with his creation. This is really just religion in Christianity. Okay. Oneism is the same as oneism. Luciferianism is a belief system that venerates the essential characteristics that are affixed to Lucifer or the planet Venus. It is therefore a deification of the planet and its belief in the archetype of Lucifer, the name of the various mythological and religious figures associated with the planet Venus. Shamanism. Metaphysics is not shamanism. Shamanism requires physical and spiritual aspects to blend through suffering or experiences to prove essential connection to the cosmic creator. However, it does not mean that all practices are related to suffering. Okay? The use of psychedelics are also used to travel through interdimensional experiences. In metaphysics, we do not use psychedelics. In metaphysics, we go within ourselves without needing to use a psychedelic form or a drug to make ourselves able to connect with ourselves. We simply go within and we connect. For those who have been in the lessons and those who have been in the lectures, I want to say thank you to you who have been working very hard alongside me to understand that we have managed to demystify the whole story about psychic abilities. Everyone is a psychic being, whether you are aware of it or not. And so I want to leave these thoughts with you, and I would like for you to listen to it carefully and to understand that the information about metaphysics is very serious. It is an actual thing that exists, and we are fighting something that is trying to scrub the information off the system, off of the reality within the minds of men and women. And so I want to bring to your attention that this is what we will be working on from now on. The next video that will be coming after this one is called The Root Races and everything else involved in it, which I'm not going to be telling you. But I do want to prepare you that you will be finding the information quite an eye-opening. And as I've said to you from the beginning, this is my life work that I will be presenting. It is not the only part of my life. It is just a part of my life. It is not all of my life, but it is something that I will be discussing, and that is how long I've been working with that information. Okay, so I want to leave the information with you. Thank you very much from me to you for being part of this and from wanting to be part of the metaphysical connection that we're going into. And let's get on with business, shall we? Much love. Bye.